Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be taking a look into my Hurricane 2020 forecast, hurricane season, 2020 forecast. We also be taking a look into the summer 2020 forecast, and I'm planning on put these two in one video, but I think you guys really want to see the hurricane forecast more than the summer forecast. So we're going to first begin with the hurricane forecast here, and let's actually take a look forecast here. If I could find the correct one, which apparently I guess I do not have it. Here we go. Here it is. So this is my hurricane forecast. It's pretty different. Where I'm going by is areas look to be most active for hurricanes or more favorable. In other words, I think overall it's going to be an above average season. Um, Really, the main track of these storms should be pretty much in these general areas in here. So in these reds area here, that's where I'm indicating probably the most active for hurricanes, especially this area here looks to be active for pretty much the entire season, and that's what's going to make it pretty well above average. Is because this area here is looking to have well above average precipitation for during the entire season from June to November, and that is a long time. But in these yellows areas here, these are wild cards. We're looking into precipitation by models. This is getting kind of difficult in these areas here to forecast, especially along the East Coast. It's really because of the precipitation. Um, some models are showing some of these areas might be drier than normal. Some other models show it could be wet. I mean, it's just kind of a mess here for these areas here. So it might be active for some portions of the season, and it might not be active for portions of the season, if you know what I mean there. So any system that could come through here might hit some drier air in this area, and these areas in here might die down. If it does make it through there, it'll probably pick back up speed again or gain strength. But overall, sea surface temperatures in all these areas should be staying slightly above average or above average. So definitely no problem about that. So the main development region, which is right here, is looking to be staying active for pretty much the entire season. And there is some uncertainties that goes into these areas in here. Like I said, some models showing drier conditions for portions of the season, and other models indicating above average precipitation. It's pretty much going back and forth during the season, so you might have some active times here and there, or quiet times here and there during the season. So overall, I think it's going to be above average season. I do not know the exact numbers of that I'm thinking about, but I think it'll be staying above average this season. And some college universities, especially for one of them, which I cannot remember which one it was, I found out on Twitter. They said they're talking about a record high amount of hurricanes this hurricane season, which is a pretty concerning here. And I think most of the hurricanes tropical systems should be happening in this area because models are in a really good agreement that it's going to be staying above average precipitation in that area, and also as well as for the sea surface temperatures. Let's take a look into the CFS model here. We're going to go month by month. So this is June, and pretty much the jet stream should be staying mainly quiet here. I do not really see much of any ridges or troughs in this area for pretty much the good chunk of the season. Here's July. Seems like there might be some ridging trying to develop here, actually. With winds with the high pressure system goes in like this. So these storms here might be staying in a southern track here. If we go to August, kind of dissipates. So in here, September, October, and November. So pretty much there's not really much turning here overall. Or basically it's just all ridging here. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we're going to see about that. It's showing that for pretty much the entire season that there's probably going to be pretty much nothing unless that's all ridging. Which, if it's going to be all ridging, then that's really going to kill the numbers for the hurricane season. So, yeah. And and there goes for the rest of the season. And let's take a look to precipitation. This is what's really getting my attention here. So let's go back to June, if we could get there. So for June, at this point here, showing drier than normal conditions across parts of the main development region, but other models have a pretty good agreement that it could be above average. And that really starts to pick back up into July, as you can see here. It's even showing some above average precipitation over in here. If we kind of go back here, it's also showing some drier conditions in here. That's what kind of I mean. July starts to break up. Then August, it seems like August is looking to be the most active month at this point. September looks to be pretty active as well, but look at here along the coast here, looking pretty dry. So some uncertainties do stand there. Here's October, turns dry in these areas again, but around circling around there, it's above average precipitation. But look at the United States though, everybody's pretty much dry. And then there's November, so overall, it's looking to be pretty much active here. It looks to be kind of all over the place, really. But yeah, and this is also my first time making a hurricane season forecast, so I do not have a lot of skill for it. So, but I'll probably definitely make some changes on the next update if any major changes do come out. And it seems like November on here, it does look to be very active in here, over in this area. So United States, if this does verify, especially towards the end of the season, you might be able to get spared because that definitely tells me there's going to be ridging here. So Florida might not get so lucky with it, but definitely need to watch here. There could be some stalled out systems in here. That's definitely a possibility there. But yeah, let's move on to the summer 2020 forecast here. So, what we have going on here is I don't really see anybody being below average at this point, but there could be some areas that might reach below average. The best chances of getting slightly below average temperatures might be the Great Lakes in the Northeast, especially for the far Northeast. But pretty much the entire summer, there's going to be a stubborn ridge across the west, especially the core of the ridge looks to be staying at the Four Corner states. That's why I'm showing well above average temperatures there, because things like the ridge will be sitting there pretty much the entire summer. Talking about June, July, August. So, and it's even showing, I'm even showing above average temperatures across the southeast as well. But yeah, and let's move on to the precipitation forecast here. This could be my final summer forecast, by the way. As you've seen these final ones, this could be my final summer forecast because we haven't really seen major changes into the summer forecast by looking into models. Also, the Climate Prediction Center should be updating their forecast very soon. I actually need to show you guys that. But in the same time, I don't think I need to show you guys that because it is outdated. The last time it was updated was back at the 16th of April, and I think they'll update this tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow, but we'll see. But where you have that very stubborn ridge, there's going to be a well below average precipitation in there, especially for other areas in the ridging here. And now where I have this slightly above average precipitation, there's going to be some uncertainties here. It could be dry, though whenever I think about it. I probably should put equal chances, but just to be safe, we'll put slightly above average precipitation because the hurricane season, who knows, might be active during portions of the summer, so we'll keep it slightly above average there for now. Oh yeah, by the way, these ECs make equal chances, so you may have a chance of getting, you could see slightly above average precipitation or slightly below average precipitation, or you can see pretty much an average season. That goes the same thing for temperatures, which we'll go back there. You can see here it does It is in effect across the Great Lakes, portions of the Northeast, even for the far northwest there as well. And on here it does include portions of the Northwest, goes through the Northern Rockies to the Central Plains, and then to Texas, and then even for the far Northeast as well. Here's your overall forecast here. So, we're going to start from west to east here. So in this orange area, it's going to be hot and dry where you're going to have this stubborn ridge. It looks to be happening across pretty much the entire summer. Unfortunately for some of you guys there, they actually might need rain. But when you think about it, pretty much the entire winter, these guys here have been seeing like below average temperatures or below average temperatures and also above average precipitation. Guess what? Mother Nature's doing. It's trying to equal things out, so you guys will probably be staying in the ridge for a while for pretty much the summer. So it's going to be a hot summer for you guys down there that's going to be stuck in this stubborn ridge. This yellow area here, it's going to be warm to the north, which is pretty much for the Rockies for the most part, and south, which goes into Texas, Oklahoma, pretty much the plains. It's going to be hot in those areas as well. So now some people's going to have some questions with the severe weather area here. It's also, well, I've also put in here is a couple or a few MCSs of derechos. So basically what I'm saying here is there might be a few or there could be a couple of few MCSs and derechos. And I'll show you guys why that for in just a moment, but it does include the Northern Plains, the Midwest, and even for portions of the lower Ohio Valley. Now that severe weather might go outside of that box, so that's why I have the stormy and warm area uh, going right beside it here from portions of Montana and Wyoming through the Central Plains, and then back into the Mid-Atlantic. Of course, you guys may know there's going to be a few tropical systems, and it's also going to be hot down there. So that includes pretty much the entire southeast there in that pink, the light green area up into across portions of the Great Lakes. It could be wet, it can be warm as well. This white area here, that's pretty much average, and this yellow here is warm. I'm trying to get this done quick because my mouth has turned to hurt here. So, I'm going to very quickly take a look into the CFS here, show you guys what I'm talking about, the severe weather. And we're going to first take a look at change the region of this. We'll do the entire United States. If we could get there, there we go. So we're going to start in June, and let's take a look into the pretty much the overall pattern. So, pay attention to these black lines here, which I'll get my pen out. So you got ridging building across the desert southwest here, and your jet stream is basically going something like this here. Now, when you have winds kind of going on a northwest flow here, there's going to be some low pressure systems that do follow along here. And where you have very high Cape values in here, which is typically in the summertime, when you have these low pressure systems that come by, there could be some big time thunderstorms that can develop here, and they can train themselves and they can go for long distances. And it shows a little better look as we get into July here. But we'll also take a look at precipitation, which is pretty much all over the place, but you kind of get the idea. You got a little bit ridging here across the four corner states. That's where your ridge is in place. And then with that northwest flow, with all those systems, you get above average precipitation. Here's July. It's still a similar scenario here, but you still got ridging across these areas in here. And overall, it's above average precipitation across the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region. But as we transition over to the upper dynamics or the jet stream, oh, it's pretty close to jet stream, you got a very well defined high pressure here. Pretty strong high pressure. Basically, these areas right in here is going to be hot and dry. Hot and dry pretty much July. And where you have this northwest flow here, it also showed above average precipitation. Pretty much in these areas here, pretty much a rough draft. There's definitely going to be severe weather problems in these areas in here. So these areas here, like portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, which typically, at least for the most part, MCSs and the derechos do develop kind of in the Midwest and they move to the southeast into the Ohio Valley. And we've seen a couple of things like that last year. We also had a derecho once that developed across Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, and it lasted into Texas and Louisiana. If you guys might be questioning, what is a derecho? Really, a derecho is a cluster of thunderstorms that can produce very strong winds. Let me tell you that. And they keep on continuing going through the cycle here, and they keep on rolling, and they really just follow the amount of energy here. So, like for example here, like we had just yesterday, the time of making this video, there was K values in these areas in here, anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 CAPE. The storms developed in here, and guess where the storms go? Towards the higher K values. With some storms go to the south, some storms went this way, and some storms went that way. And that's where we had a very favorable environment of CAPE, and so that's where those storms went. And we can see those during the summer here, especially on this northwest flow here. So really under the gun for MCS's and derechos are these areas in here where I have circled. Portions of the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and even the Great Lakes. And June has something showing similar to that setup there, even with more precipitation. August, still similar. The ridge has weakened a little bit though. It has weakened. You still have ridging still in control across the Southern Plains, the desert southwest, into the southeast. So it's still hot and dry for the most part. And you got systems that rode along here. You still got a northwest flow going on here. And let's take a look into the precipitation. So here's your precipitation for July. Hold on, we're actually looking on the wrong thing. Here we go. So here's August. Hopefully I was not paying attention there, but you still have some above average precipitation in these areas in here. So there might still be MCSs and derechos in these areas in here. It's definitely possible. I kind of disagree with these dry areas in here. It doesn't really make much sense, but it does also indicate some above average precipitation across portions of North Dakota, Minnesota, even across the Northwest. This is also an early indication that there might be some active tropics in here where you see all this above average precipitation in here. So we're going to see about that. Just to be sure to show you guys the right thing. And yes, I did. So in September, portions of September, at least half of September, is summer, technically. And as you can see here, pretty much everyone's dry. But overall, really the main focus for severe weather is these areas right in here, which includes like portions of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and it might even include portions of the Northeast here. That's a big question mark, but we will see about that there. And overall, looking to be hot and dry across these areas here. That also might get extended to the southeast. We'll see about that, but overall, it's going to be hot and dry in here. Your overall jet stream is looking like this. So yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty easy forecast for everybody because it's showing pretty much that same setup for pretty much the entire summer from June to August, even for portions of September. But anyways, guys, we actually need to show you guys Well, actually, I don't have to, like I said. But anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this summer 2020 forecast, and even for the hurricane 2020 forecast. If you guys did like this forecast video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, you could put the comment section down below. I will answer your guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.